Good? Yeah, okay. All right. We'll move to audience introductions.
If
you want to go ahead and start?
Yeah, I'm Micah from Pacific Impact. It's good to see you all there. And I'm Jason. From Sandy.
Hi, Jason.
I'm Stephanie.
Corey?
Anna Sharkey.
Thank you. Oh, that's nice. Thank you, Anna. Okay. Let's move to the approval of the agenda.
So I'll move to
we
approve
have
the agenda.
one
Do we
thing.
have a change?
We need
And
to,
in addition for the turf tank, which should be F under items to consider for board action. And then we also have one thing, just a hiring update for SPED, which can be either information for the board that could be D, or we could do it after spotlight and move it.
Let's put it for D. What do you think?
yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah. And it's for SPED. What is it?
Yeah, teacher.
Okay, yep. Okay,
What did we say 6F was?
that's for the
Turf
turf
tank.
tank.
Thanks.
I'll move to approve the agenda with the noted additions.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Delegation of visitors. This is anybody that wants to speak on any items on the agenda itself. All right, we'll move to items of information for the board. Superintendent.
Yeah, first, just want to go over, we'll have you come up here a little bit later, and we'll do it under spotlight is where we'll do that. But yes, so end of the year, we had some early assessment results. Can't really go over too much at this point, but definitely looking like we made some overall growth. Both reading and math, we want to still have a long ways to go for where we want to be in the long run. A lot of schools feel that way, but we were happy to see there was some overall growth with our students in both reading and math. So, our formative assessment results will be available summer, and the statewide assessment data will be released in the fall, like it was earlier this year. Graduation rates, we have one family with a large number of children moved. So that may have impacted the number slightly, but we did get records requests from them, and should be close to 100% again this year with graduation rates. And then our ninth grade on track. Looks like semester grades, we'll see for sure with the high school freshmen, but it looks like they are all within that limit with that ninth grade on track, and they did pretty well with it overall. And any students who have any deficiencies will be given those opportunities this summer and during the next school year to address any of those shortfalls. And then some challenges and opportunities ahead. We're doing a little bit better with the gaps closing requirements for 2027 with both the essential skills of math and English plus the requirements of Senate Bill 3. We already have those in place, and we anticipate some good success with this class with their assessments this next year with the class of 2027. And then our schedule for next year includes offerings that we have not offered over the past couple of years or are brand new. We're bringing back in-person high school art. In addition, we have in-person Spanish with a cooperation with Amity School District, as you all know. And then we have that construction math class, the high school high school team games / officiating 101, vet science, and health occupations on the schedule for next year. We will continue to add technology where needed, such as replacing some outdated Chromebooks. Mrs. Ford did an excellent job of getting some information out to staff and making sure we had a collection of Chromebook data information, because as we start phasing through these Chromebooks that we bought 5-6 years ago for the classrooms and for the students during the COVID shutdown, we need to make sure that we're keeping those up to date. Like a good number of them, you can't use the statewide assessments on those, so we've been having to rotate through. But, they only keep those up to date for servicing basically every 7 years, and then they kaput and you gotta go with a new one. So that's how they get the money out of you. Yeah. And then Jerry's working on that with the staff, and he'll be getting those this summer after we turn over for July 1st with our new year. And then, the 25-26 school year, our priorities include that increased support for early literacy and math interventions. I'll have an update on that in a minute. Continuing to expand college and career readiness pathways, strengthening community and family relationships. And then the last one, enhancing staff professional growth opportunity. And then summer athletics and activities. We actually I sent out a message this evening reminding parents and students that our new high school PE teacher and athletic director is actually going to be joining me here at school every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. He'll be here from 8 to 9:30 for all of our high school kids, regardless if they're an athlete or not, to come in and use the weight room. So that's all incoming freshmen through this year's incoming senior class. So that'll be a great opportunity for those kids that want to be there and have an activity here at the school, which is great. He's volunteering his time to do that, but he thought it was important for them to be able to do it. We can't do it during dead week with OSA, but we can have it every other week. So that's the plan.
When's dead week?
The end of July. So
And that starts tomorrow, right?
starts tomorrow, 8 a.m. Yep. And then many of our high school and upper middle school students participate in summer athletics and school programs. Our boys are over in Sherman, or at Sherman Morrow High School. And then they're in Morrow, Sherman High School this last weekend. And then our girls basketball team right now is over in Eastern Oregon. They are currently staying the night in Embler tonight, but they were at Joseph yesterday. And then they were in Echo before that. So they're doing an East Coast swing and playing some teams that they don't normally get to play. It's been a great bonding experience for them over there. So good deal for those students, and appreciate the coaches taking the students over there. And then final congratulations to our class of 2025. Hope all of our students and their families have some time to unplug, have some well-earned rest, and hope they all have a great summer.
Can I ask a question about
Yes.
the graduation rate? So is the thought that like when somebody moves, if they don't complete, then it counts against it?
Yes. Unless they enroll into a different school and then they don't complete there. So, it just varies. And sometimes we've had that, even if they continue on to get their GED, that would count against it. And we have one student that we helped, even though they weren't a student of ours, we made it available for them to use our Wi-Fi so they could finish their GED because they were not going to continue with school. We didn't want to have it go that route, but they came to us very late in their high school career, and we wanted to help them have as much success as possible. So sometimes that happens.
Okay.
All right.
If they don't enroll somewhere, then it just falls back on us.
Yeah.
Go to the elementary, middle school.
Sure. Pretty exciting end of the school year, really. Aside from our kindergarten promotion and our 8th grade promotion, which many of you were at, we had some field trips, Oregon Zoo field trip, Bullwinkle's field trip for the rewards trip for middle school. And then Mr. G hosted his very last field day. And it went really well. And kids were happy, kids were sad, kids were every emotion in between, knowing that Mr. G is leaving, but we wish him well in his retirement. And just, some end of year wrap up. Teachers are finishing up or have already finished their final assessments and report cards and their classroom cleanups. And so over the summer, we just have lots to do to get ready for next year.
Thank you. We're going to move to the staff part, Erin.
All right, we have 33 students on IEPs. Some of our students took a field trip to participate in an escape room. They had lunch at the yard and spent some time at the park. And it was kind of focused on students with social skills goals, self-advocacy, problem solving, and giving compliments. And it was a huge success. Small, but big success.
Very cool. Thanks, Erin. Let's move to Spotlight on Education. Oh, sorry.
Do you want to do this, the
Facilities,
facilities
sorry.
report?
Any questions or comments on that?
Just glad the air conditioning was working this year.
Yes.
Yeah, that was nice.
There was texting going back and forth about 2 weeks before graduation on that one. Not this year.
The choices. I should have-
We also brought the
But it's
fan
sooner.
out just in case, so.
And I walked in with my
Still got
parents
warm.
and they're like,
Yeah. I know.
whoa, it's not, I'm like, oh my God, I should have worn more clothes.
Yeah.
It's
Really nice.
And the old, or the small gym, that's got great AC. Compliments on that the other day. Someone actually said it was cold.
Hey, how about that? Now we won't need to choose.
Well, real quick on the facilities, we have some guests every Sunday for the next couple months. Our church that we share a parking lot with is has some issues with their foundation, so they were going to put new siding on. And when they were doing that, they realized that the foundation couldn't support that and that they had to reinforce stuff. So they're utilizing our facility. There's 2 Sundays that we can't host them in the gym, so we're trying to work out something with that. It looks like maybe even just one, but we already has basketball camps for girls and boys that were scheduled. And then there was another one where the gym is shut down because we're resurfacing. So Troy's looking at that as try to be as creative as possible and try to help them out as much as we can. So
Are we doing both of them at the same time? Do they just want to be?
it's behooves us to do both at the same time usually. Yeah. We're seeing if we can try to do that. Troy is the one that's doing the floors this year, so he may be able to do it, but the rental, the equipment, etc. So
Anything else about facilities?
on education now? All right. So we have a couple of retirements today, and we just wanted to say thank you to our board members that are retiring. And we actually have our representative, Anna Sharf, who wanted to come here this evening. She scheduled us out a couple months ago. So go ahead, Anna, and then we'll talk a little bit more.
Thank you, Mr. Dugan. Thank you to the board for allowing me to be here this evening. And I knew if I told anybody this, I wouldn't be allowed to do it. But there are 2 wonderful women tonight who are retiring after a long time on the board. And so having served with both of you, I wanted to bring you something tonight as your state representative, because I don't know that I would have got there without either one of you as well. And just say thank you. So first of all, I'm going to start off and say thank you, Trina Comerford. And they said 12 years, but I swear to God, it has to be more than 12 years.
Seems like longer than that.
She's been here about 30.
Stop it. She started after high school then. 12 years of dedicated board service to the Perrydale School District and the kids and the community and everything that you do. So I brought you a certificate and something to remember you.
Oh, thank you.
And then next is Miss Amber Burns. I was sitting on my couch one evening when I was on the board, and I believe it was maybe even election night that we needed to turn ballots in, and there was a vacancy on the board, and I made some phone calls to family and friends in the district and said, here's a name that you need to write in. So Amber, I railroaded you, girl.
Yeah, you do.
And she managed to make it 8 years. So I wanted to make sure that I recognized one of my best friends, Amber.
So you can drive in the parade more now.
Yes.
And
And also my parade driver.
That's right.
Can we take 2 seconds so I get a picture?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I would have dressed nicer.
That's what I tell you.
I did take my cut off shorts off.
So,
Vanessa, you want to get the picture? Sure. Jenny can, it doesn't have to be you. Jenny, it is.
should we
The
do it?
budget committee chair has to take pictures also.
Yeah. We won't do the one that we did when I got on the board.
Oh, let's not.
Thanks, Jenny. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Congratulations, you two.
Thank
Enjoy your last
you.
board meeting. And now I'm gonna go back and finish reading the head
Yes.
budget.
I told you we'd try to get you out of here.
I know.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Then our school would also like to recognize you folks, so this is for Amber, and you have another gift that I need to make sure that
Oh,
I give to you, but we've always been a
my
big proponent
God.
of our CTE program, so you just had to screw things up by getting that other car though,
No.
but he kept the Camaro, I know. So they got the right year, and if you need any touch up, I noticed that on that
They
side,
got
but you
the
can go
right
the other
year,
side.
that's great.
So, and your little gift for dinner for your husband and you, and then a certificate, which you can do with that as you wish, so. But I figured you may like that.
I love this. That's perfect.
And Trina, do you know how hard it is to get lime gold as a paint job for that Mustang that you have in that garage? So,
Penelope.
yeah, so I had, your grandson took a picture of it for me.
Perfect.
And we tried our best, but we do know they actually make a special one that we can get because they recently brought back lime gold a few years ago.
I think it's actually called Ivy
Is that what it is? Okay.
Green.
So whatever that one, he tried to get as best as he could
It's
with
pretty
it.
darn close,
It's
isn't
pretty
it?
close, yeah.
That's
So
Penelope, this will look so good above her in the
I
shop.
figured it may. So
You may have to bring it to the
and
next
again,
one.
a little dinner for you and
We
your.
will.
I was only gonna sneak by here real quick.
This is really for Sean.
But we thought about a softball, but
No, it's good.
again,
This,
part of that was just your support for everything CTE and the school in general for both of you. So
You know how cool it is that you guys are using
that machine.
we're using
We're
it.
so happy.
Oh, it makes me so happy.
So we were able to get LeVay that custom airplane that had his name in the years he was here with the Pirate Head. And that brought him to tears the other
I'm
day.
sure.
So that
That
was
is
a
super
tough
cool.
one.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. Thank you
yeah,
guys.
pretty good one. So thank
Thank
you
you
for
guys.
everything. We really do appreciate it. So,
Thank you. This is
Very, very,
cool.
very nice.
Thanks.
so if you want a little touch up, let us know.
No, it's
Try to
perfect
change
for the bullet Penelope.
Yeah, the bullet, exactly.
Okay, I don't know where we are. Hold on.
How do we?
Yeah, okay, district insurance discussion.
Yeah, so I have something here. So what happened was that we had a representative from Hagen Hamilton, Mr. Stone, that had come up. He, out of the McMinnville office, but really lives down by Eugene. So he's been representing Hagen Hamilton. And right now we go through WHA, and we've been happy with WHA, don't get me wrong. But I know the board in the past has expressed interest in doing stuff locally. Well, when he came to talk with us in April, he did not, it was towards the end of April. We did not know that he needed to know something by March 1st, or May 1st. So when he said, oh, how did it go, or et cetera, or how did it go with the board? And I just said, well, we're not going to, if you could, we're not going to be able to just throw something in front of our board and make a decision when there's not a meeting. And he understood that, but again, he's trying to sell a product, and he's probably watching tonight, actually, in the service. And from what Amity and Sheridan have said, they do a great job. So I don't know if this is something that we're looking to move on, obviously, because I'm putting it in front of you, but that may be something at least we consider for next year. Again, we're happy with WHA. I'm sure, from what I hear, Hagen Hamilton is a fantastic entity, and this is something that he had provided. One of the things that he wanted us to point out is that, and this is true about other companies I know as well, but he had said that they, could beat WHA and whoever else. But once you get to $100,000 on your insurance premiums, then Oregon law allows you to negotiate that rate. Right now we pay 16%, and that's mandated. So it doesn't matter which company we go with. That's a mandated rate. So we could go with WHA, could go Hagen Hamilton, whoever else, and that rate has to stay the same. Right now, we're at about $70,000 per year for insurance for vehicle, for all of our stuff that we have covered with that. So we're not, approaching that closely, but again, just didn't know what direction the board may want to go in the future, whether that would be this coming year or whether that would be more of a discussion that we have in late winter next year. I know that, again, we're not trying to just throw something in front of you without having that discussion. So I had told them that we would try to look at something in May, and I had forgotten that the May board meeting to have that on the agenda. So I wanted to make sure I did talk about it today. So again, Jake's been really great talking with them. And, if we decide to go that route, whether it's now or next year, have that discussion further. I just, I think that it would be great to connect with him. We had a great conversation when we did talk that day in my office, and then in follow-up conversations as well. So that's why I put it as information and not board action, obviously, just because I thought that may be the appropriate place, unless you folks said something different. And one of the other things, he did used to work for WHA. And then, as it said in the first paragraph, there, personally served as our insurance agent. And back when he was working with Julie and Robin a long time ago, and then he decided to switch companies, as it says there.
So,
So we'll get a comparison.
yeah, we don't.
It'll end up being pretty much the same price, so, and that could be more of a discussion point, later on.
And what's the time, like the term on our?
So each year, so
So
we
when does
we
that?
renew in July 1st.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
again, I'm not saying it had to be this evening, and I
Yeah.
told them that before that. I try to get it to you folks, but again, we're not going to just put it to you and expect you to have a special board meeting, et cetera, over this. So.
Okay.
Right.
To
Thank you.
item 4D. Aaron.
So that means you guys are just gonna stay as is for next year.
We'll assume that's the case, yeah.
Right.
That's what it sounds like. There's no-
I mean, will customer service, is that a factor here? I mean, what would be advantageous to?
At this point, I'm not sure that there really would be. I
Okay.
think that's again more of a discussion point as we get, into looking at comparing for the next year, for the 26-27 school year.
Okay,
Again, I'll, connect with other schools that have been working with them over the next year. I can get that list from Jake, or I can get it from Hagan Hamilton's office there in McMinnville, but other local districts that have been continuing to work with them and just get some more input from them on what they're feeling. But
okay.
again, the feedback so far that I've heard has been positive.
Something I've been kind of pushing and asking for, because personalized, more local, and they tend to, whatever district they are representing and providing the insurance for, they tend to give back to that district as well. So we don't get anything back from PACE. I've not been a fan for quite a while now. And being able to renegotiate your rates, get them back and say, okay, this is 16%. Can we get it down to 14? Can we look at 15.5? And they're able to do that, whereas PACE just goes, nope, you get nothing else from us. This is it. It's been frustrating. PACE has been frustrating for me for a while. I would like to have the opportunity for the district to have a local representative and be able to annually look at their rates and ask for competitive options. One of the things that a couple of the other districts have shared with me with Hagan Hamilton is that they'll say, can we get comparative rates? And they'll bring you a whole list of them. And with PACE, we don't get anything. This is what you get. We don't ever even get it ahead of time. Whatever it is, we're just stuck with it. Correct?
We would still be part of the insurance, case.
Yeah, you'd be part of it. Yeah, so this WHA does the underwriting for some
So
of our
it's just-
property.
It's
Our
just the end of
property
it.
Yeah.
playground.
Okay.
And then the special districts of Oregon, does
They're
the,
all in the same.
evaluation,
That's
yeah.
cool.
it's kind of confusing when you see the phone numbers pop up. You're not SDOA. Which one?
Yeah.
So which person?
It's all the same.
It is actually it was actually Jake who kind of explained it to me better with that whole special districts of Oregon and
Well, and
WHA, et cetera.
so really it's just who would work,
Who we
But-
work with.
who would work the best and the hardest.
Yeah,
for
the agent of
district.
record.
Yeah.
So
So do we have some kind of idea that he would?
right now, they would. Right now, the percentage would be the same.
So, yeah, I mean, to me, it's
Customer service.
neither for another, just customer service. So is this a change you want to make now?
I think that we need to probably hold off just because I feel like I need to give the board more time to digest that. You know,
Okay.
I'm again, I think Jake's been great and I wouldn't mind working with him at all, but I don't know with the short notice like this, if that's
Okay.
the appropriate move.
Understood.
Okay, Erin, go ahead, take it away.
All right, so special ed department has hired 2 special education teachers. It was, kind of a stressful, application process just because, for a variety of things, but, someone that I said we were kind of going a different direction for a few reasons. I called back and both of our applicants said Perrydale is the only school they applied for. It's the only school they were interested in. And they both come from Dallas. Jordan Miller was a coach in Dallas, comes highly recommended by their special education director or previous. And then Eric Hayworth is coming from Oakdale, the self-contained class there. I don't think their paths crossed in Dallas, but I am looking forward to having them work together, and I think they'll be a great addition to our department.
Very good. Okay, we will move to item 5, consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passed unanimously. Items for the board, FFA ag pickup.
Yeah, so I had sent you some information, more information on the ag pickup yesterday. We got great news over the last month since our last meeting that we received $25,000 from the Roundhouse Foundation, which is great. They had asked for that grant in order to, purchase a pickup and have that transportation and not have to rely on students to utilize their trucks all the time and be able to have that for other activities where they don't necessarily need a full-on minibus, but they don't want to transport students in their own personal vehicle. So having a quad cab pickup of some sort seemed like it would be a good multifaceted approach to do that. So one of the tricks when we were looking into this over the last couple of months with Oregon Department of Education is that rule about minibuses and not being over 10,000 with the GVRW or GVWR and making sure that it was within the right limits. So as we did some more investigating on that, it did look like Chevy and GMCs were a little bit over that limit. So we couldn't utilize their pickups. And McKenna and Kirk looked into that and talked with other ag advisors that they know they have transportation with pickups and none of them have the Chevy or DMC, and they use that reason is why they weren't even in the running. Some Fords are now there. Before they were at 10,100, which made it so they weren't eligible. Now they realize that you got to get under that 10,000 limit, right at 10,000 or under. And the Dodges or the Rams they range anywhere from like 85 to 10,000. So all of their products in the 2,500 range, and they went with that F-250, the 2,500 with the Ram side of things to look at that towing capability as opposed to something like an F-150 or the 1,500 just isn't going to be able to tow enough.
So it was a pickup in a enclosed.
So they're looking at an enclosed cargo trailer. Right now, that's the secondary item just because that's something we can utilize, from other, families or other departments. We may even have a couple departments here that may be willing to go in on that. And we have some additional funds from our outdoor school that we are looking to make sure that we but spend down before the end of the fiscal year. Otherwise, we have to make sure we give that back. But we had talked about having some type of a trailer because they have about 18 totes that they bring with them each year, but that would only be for, a week a year. So we're talking about having multiple groups that may go in on it. So FFA may be one of those groups that helps pitch in on some of that. So I would say that that's the secondary one. Altogether, we're at 42,500 with grants that they've secured this year and some fundraise money that they had through like corn feed, et cetera. And some of the pricing that we found for new pickups, anywhere from 47 or high 46s to 55 in that range. Our SIA funds, when we talk with the state, because we had some that we had spent down because of, or currently are spending down because of the changing in FTE. Like I had told you, we had some changes, and so that was less expensive over the last 2 years than originally anticipated. We didn't have transportation because we didn't anticipate that. And so on our document for this coming year, we had listed that as a tiered item. So our person that does grants for us at ODE said that that would fall within our parameters so we could use some of our SIA. So we purchased a ton of supplies for all of our CTE classes for next year in order to make sure that we're helping supply everything we may need for those courses. Everything from animal science and vet tech stuff to metal shop and welding and wood shop as well. So we're able to spend some items on that, and we think that hopefully by going with that, up to that 12,500, we don't necessarily anticipate it to be that much, but I don't want to pigeonhole ourselves in that section. We'd like to stay under 50 if we can, which would put that amount at about 7,500 of that funds. But wanted to have that discussion, and again, it's McKenna and Kirk have done a great job, and a lot of that's fallen on McKenna. But wonderful job of securing grants, and especially for that, they even did something where they put it out for people in the community. Some of you may have seen that if they wanted to donate towards that pickup, and we had some families that donated towards that as well. So with that way, so I thought it may have been a little bit tough to secure that amount of money when they approached me earlier this year. I said, hey, if you want to try it, that's great, but we need to make sure that we get to that amount. So we could not purchase this, as I said in the report I gave you last night. We couldn't purchase it until after July 1st because that's when our funding starts over.
This is coming out of general funds, supports fund.
No, not general funds at all.
Okay.
So
So it's-
grants, fundraisers, and SIA.
And it was
So-
sorry.
I'm sorry. So are you asking us for a motion just to be able to buy it? You're
Yeah,
not
just to
asking
be
for
able to
any kind
move
of
forward and
transfer?
purchase it because we don't have some of the deals that are there for 2024s.
Okay.
That are brand new, but still on the lot. And
Okay.
for us, that would be okay.
Yeah.
So if we can purchase something earlier in July,
And you
that would be
have
helpful.
up to 50,000.
Well,
Is
it
that
had
what you're
written,
planning?
it was up to 55 when you look at that 12, up to 12,500.
12 and a half and 42.5.
Yeah. Again, we don't anticipate that, but I don't know if some of those 24s would sell out and then we're closer to 50 already. So that's why we try to leave a little wiggle room in that.
And the 12.5 is coming from which fund?
The SIA,
SIA, just like the grant and fundraising
Yeah.
money is the 42.5.
that's correct.
Okay.
So you're looking for a motion to spend up to 55,000
Correct.
to purchase an FFA ag pickup truck.
Correct.
I move to approve the spending of up to 55,000 for an FFA ag pickup truck.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passed unanimously. Dallas Soccer Co-op.
Yeah, so our co-op with Dallas for soccer for girls and boys is up this year, so we need to re-examine that. We looked at some other neighboring districts, and that would be challenging. Like for Amity, for example, they've had a lot of success recently, but that would put them over the limit, and they don't want to switch to 4A. So I think they prefer to stay 3A. So that was out of the running, and then we've had a good relationship with Dallas the last few years when we've had it with them. It also allows us to have JV and varsity teams that our students can play on. Our boys and girls both who played had success, but having multiple teams potentially to play on it's been helpful for our students of a variety of experience.
How long is the co-op for? 2 years?
2 years.
Move that we approve the Dallas Soccer Co-op for 2 years.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Move to the 2004 minibus surplus.
And so I just need the board to make a motion to have the older minibus that we have do what we had said before, move that into surplus designation so then we could look to sell it. I did check with ODE over the last, about 2 months ago about some options. I talked with Idaho Department of Education also. Again, shocking. Idaho said you can sell whatever you want in our state, but also we could potentially sell it here, just not to a public entity. We couldn't sell it to another school, but we could sell it to a private, farmer or whoever may want it. So
Turn it into a travel bus.
exactly. It's a great tailgate vehicle. Tori?
Yeah, I was like, don't tell my husband.
So again, we just want to see what that may entail. And again, if we have to drive it to Idaho to get the best dollar and it makes sense, then we do it. And if not, then we would look to sell it here. We'd probably look to sell here first. I did contact Western Bus Sales, who we purchased our bus from, and they were going to at least give us a ballpark on what we should expect. They admitted that they may not be the best person to buy it because of the age of the bus, but they would at least give us a ballpark figure on what we should anticipate.
I'd like to make a motion to move our 2004 minibus to surplus to be sold.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
But I do have a question.
Yes.
Because I just can't remember when we got the bus last year. What happened to the other old bus?
So which,
I can't remember because
so we had some.
did we have
Midco
two when we
buses.
bought two, or did we have
No, we just
two
bought
and we
one.
bought one?
Yeah.
Okay, I just couldn't remember.
So we have 4 that you see
Yeah.
sitting out there a lot.
Yeah.
2 of them are Midco buses.
Okay.
And those are kind of pay as you go.
Yeah.
But the other one is the old one.
Okay.
But we did talk about potentially buying 2.
Yeah, that's what I just could not remember from a year ago when we did.
Yeah, I actually had our girls basketball team take the Midco on this trip in case they did have. It's a brand new one. They finally delivered the brand new one to
Oh,
us,
good.
partway through the year. So we got that right before. I think it was the day before Christmas break. We got that, and so being a brand new bus, had a little bit more storage in the back. And if we were going to have a breakdown, Mid-Columbia has transportation centers all across Eastern Oregon. So that was a good play, I think.
Yeah.
And a little bit of experience with a couple other issues we've had on long trips like that. So
All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passed unanimously. Pacific Impact.
yeah, so our friends from Pacific Impact are here again. They volunteered to come back and talk with you folks again about their product that they're looking to, work with us on or partner with us. They had submitted the information that you folks have requested. They were very timely on that. Nature, they brought it in person. Energy Trust of Oregon updated that the amount, is right at 20,000. Spoke with the person that they work with that's installed basically all the systems down in Texas. And, I think that this amount that we're seeing, that 20,000, isn't coming from them. It's coming from Energy Trust and the engineer that they had work on that. So I think, again, that's, and no offense to our fine folks there, but it's not just a salesman trying to say, hey, my product, buy it. It's actually something Energy Trust had said. And one of the things that Energy Trust commented on was the software, and having that software continually be working, because that will be that savings. And they look forward to seeing some of the other projects they're going to be able to partner with Energy Trust and Pacific Impact. So is there more you folks wanted to say?
I mean, no, we're just, if you guys have any questions, I guess. I know we were here last time and I think everybody was here, so. You guys have that rebate stuff we gave you that they updated, those forms and everything, so. It's pretty much, I think all we have for you guys.
Appreciate you guys being down here again.
Yeah.
I know it's not a short trip sometimes.
No,
That
it's fine. We
That
drive
traffic.
all over Oregon, Washington, so.
Yeah.
I don't have anything in front of me.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
I like it. It's great. I don't know how.
That's why I was looking earlier because I didn't have a paper.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to contract with Pacific Impact for energy efficiency, utilizing the Energy Trust of Oregon rebate.
And the Senate Bill 1149.
And Senate Bill 1149 funds.
I will second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you both.
Sounds like I'll be talking to you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Or the next day, depending on when you get home.
Yes.
Safe travels.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Take care, guys. Thanks again for coming tonight.
Move to item F.
No, wait, we have the resolution.
The
Oh, I'm
resolution.
sorry. I want to skip that part. Resolution
No, you can't.
adopting the budget 25-06. You gonna go for it or you want me to do it?
I think it's been our best budget in a long time. I like it.
Sheila, you take it away. How about that?
Your mouth shut. You're in it. You locked yourself in.
Yeah, see those black chairs. are not there.
It's your last one.
Tori, why don't you just come grab that gray chair over there?
Right?
Grab that gray chair over there.
Are you
and take
okay?
it over there if you want.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, they have one over there. Yes.
Okay. No falling. All right, we'll read this into the record. Resolution adopting budget 25-06. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of Perrydale School District hereby adopts the budget for 2025-2026 in a total sum of $9,475,856, now on file in the District Administrative Office. Making appropriations, be it resolved that for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025, the amounts shown below are hereby appropriated for the purposes indicated within the funds listed. And I'm just going to give the totals.
Totals, yeah.
So general fund, total general fund appropriations, $7,062 or $62,027. Debt service fund, $317,525. Capital project fund, $69,600. Special revenue fund, $2,026,704. For total adopted all funds, $9,475,856. Imposing the tax, be it resolved that the Board of Directors of Perrydale School District 21 hereby imposed upon the assessed value of all taxable property within the district for tax year 2025-2026 in the amount of at the rate of 4.5657 per thousand of assessed value for permanent tax rate, in the amount at the rate of 0 per thousand of assessed value for local option tax, and in the amount of $200,000 for debt service on general obligation bonds. And then categorizing the tax. Be it resolved that the taxes imposed are hereby categorized for purposes of Article 11, Section 11B as subject to the general government limitation, permanent tax rate, which I just read. Do you want to read this again?
No.
Okay, good. Adopted the 16th day of June, 2025. Somebody,
I'll second.
thank you.
She's like somebody.
I had to remember what I had to do next.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
A big thank you to putting the budget together and to our budget committee for showing up and helping us get this done.
Never an easy task, so thank you. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Do you want me to sign this for you?
Yes, please.
So now we'll move to F, turf tank.
Turf.
Yeah, so Troy had come to me a while ago. I had heard about this turf tank from other superintendents over the last couple of years at some of our meetings that we have with EML County superintendents. And I think it was last summer, more of the schools were looking at purchasing that. Two of them, Willamina and EML Carlton, actually have had theirs for a couple of years now. And it's been very successful. Troy had mentioned it a little bit more to me. Their salesperson had contacted them. And so we had him out here for a demonstration in May, and it was fantastic. And again, I put in there, we had somebody that does a lot of facilities ground stuff for us with parking lot, and he lives in the same house as you, Katie, but he happened to be driving past the field the next day and said, "Who did that field? It looks amazing." And Chris Cooper had said the same thing. He was like, "Who lined that field?" And he's only done it, how many times over the last 28 years. So both of them were quite impressed. It's, $11,000, but it comes with $2,000 of paint. But the amount of time that's saved, it literally takes you 2 minutes to set it up. You went to the middle of the goalpost on one side, middle of the goalpost on the other side. Satellites did the rest. They pushed the button and away. And then it not only did the whole field, but it's, yeah, I'm sure you do. But we can do parking lots. We're a little bit hesitant on the track. The straightaways, we think it would work. This gentleman actually that was a sales rep was a track athlete for Arizona, University of Arizona. So he said, "No, I think the straightaways would be great." His only concern was the curves. But, he said, obviously for shot put, javelin, any of that stuff, it would work just fine. And then baseball, softball fields, he said, you just have to decide, do you want paint or do you want chalk? If you want chalk, then don't paint. But if you want it on the infield, it would be great. So you guys use it.
And
It's used everywhere I go.
Yeah,
It's a robot.
it's a robot. It's really cool. It looks like the robots in Oregon State that deliver food, but it's green.
Oh, it's not like a
It's like a
Roomba.
lime green.
I'm like, yeah, picturing a
I was
Roomba.
hoping it had like a burger and fries with it, but it didn't. It's called Turf Tank.
Instead of the teeny robot, so it's green.
Yeah, it's a green one.
Can we paint it?
It's not that color green, although they have every color green, so they can't figure out.
It needs to be.
Okay, there you go. So anyway, it's a 3-year commitment. Obviously we told them we wanted to take it to you folks, and they've been patient enough, so that's good. And checking in, so you can make sure everything's all right. But it really was quite cool, and Troy was able to talk to them about giving us a free pirate logo. So he got that out of them, which is great. So I was really happy to hear that he was able to work that with the manager. So once we have that logo, my understanding is we have that logo built in, so then we can utilize it however many times. Yeah.
So what is it, a one-time purchase and then a service fee?
No,
Or
so it's
what?
basically $11,000 each year, and that includes $2,000 in paint. each
Oh, so it's 11,000 each year.
Each year.
Okay, so it's like
year.
a
I wish it was
rental.
better. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So do they come out and do the work for you, or are we the ones with the tablet
So
running our robot?
they will come out and do the training, the onboarding with us, and make sure we have the understanding that it'll be Troy that actually does the 5 minutes of setup and push the button. So they're the ones who help us load the stuff to begin with, just like the facilities you work with, they probably don't have the company, whichever company it is, sounds like maybe not your thing. They would be the ones.
There's
setting
multiple
it up.
companies.
Well, I get that.
You know, we could own our own, right?
Well, I have not looked into that one. But again, it's some of the other local models of been this.
I think we should buy our own and call them Little Pete. I think that our students could learn to program it. It's a great geometry class. Project.
Well, they could also
All
be
kinds
there
of
for that
things would be
onboarding and
painted,
stuff.
like-
I mean,
Oh
they
my
could do that.
God.
They could be them instead of Troy. That does the programming with it.
I'm in favor of whatever you want to do with it. They're pretty fantastic and they're super fast.
They are amazingly fast.
And it's a little.
So it's basically the fields,
I'll get a flag for you.
the fields and. the parking
Fields,
lot.
parking lot, and then the track, any track things that have the lines.
So it's either chalk or paint.
No, that one
No.
would be paint.
It's
But it also could do, they said they get updates from colleges or high schools saying, oh, we used it for this, like,
Oh,
You know,
it says,
I'd said Roundup, I said
Roundup
weed
and
stuff, but
fertilizer.
maybe something other than Roundup right now at school, but yeah,
Yeah.
fertilizer. That they were able to spray that in the necessary areas, and that helped out quite a bit with their fertilization.
Understood.
So,
understood.
Yeah.
so that just other things like the track, they said, no, we hadn't even really considered that when we first started selling the product. And then more people started doing that. They had figured out parking lots and things like that, but we just said you get people all the time say something new. What they did, even their first robot, because this is the second iteration of it. The first robot, they even had like people that were doing circles during 2020 and 2021 that were using it to make circles in the
Oh,
necessary
yeah.
spots, so they didn't have to put down tape or whatever. They just painted it on the concrete or whatever. We're not going to go down that road.
Right.
In fact, I started twitching a little bit when I saw the circles on the field.
Can we use it anywhere else?
Yeah, so if we want to work with some other schools, if they want to, get in on it with us, we can go ahead and do that and work with them. We be careful. We're not just trying to open it up to everybody because Turf Tank wouldn't like that.
Nope.
But that's something that other schools have done is work with each other, and
Sure.
we just let them know that we're working with these other schools. So
Are there other, I don't know, looking for other similar,
like Fall City, for
Product.
example.
Yeah, there's
Would
more
be
bots, there's TV
Oh, sure.
mobiles, they're all the same price.
all the same price? So it's not
Just not again.
a shopping.
I'm sure we
The
can get some
important
type of,
things.
what do they call
Wrap
that on
for
the
it.
wrap? Thank you.
Wrap.
Great
I'm not kidding.
idea.
Our robots are wrapped now, some of them on campus.
Are they?
That would be cool.
That's
That,
What are the
now
robots
you
do?
just pushed me over the edge, that works.
We had a bright orange Tesla
Livers,
pickup
or
truck
like
out here the other day. Bright orange.
One's bright orange.
That's Katie's.
Those order on your phone.
I didn't really think it was. We had a bright orange Tesla pickup truck.
No,
that was-
I know it's
It's
not
not
you.
you
I was
driving a
kidding.
Tesla.
I saw that.
That thing was bright as bright can be.
Yeah.
I did see that.
Orange.
It was like, oh, it's so orange.
Yeah.
It's gonna get orange cards. I don't know. Okay, do we have a motion?
I've spent many years on the sideline that Dugan painted, so I move to approve
There you go, on your way out.
the contract. Is it a 3-year contract?
3-year contract.
3-year contract for Turf Tank.
Second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
I would like it wrapped.
I'll look into that wrap.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Not that.
All right, item 7, patron input. Any input? No? All right, item 8, board comments.
I'll just say thank you to both of you on your last meeting, and we're gonna
miss you.
Yeah.
But thank you for all your service. I think
We know where to find you guys.
everyone did was much more than we could say.
And I'm sure
Know where you guys live.
I thought it was gonna be easy to just walk away, but last week's kind of emotional for me about it. But I just want to ask that we make sure that the playground, the gates and the cameras and everything just get finished and that it stays used and open to the public. Please.
Can I second that? Can I say that I've heard more in the last week about play dates that are planned for like weekly gatherings where families come so their kids can play together and it's the same time every week. And it's just been really nice to see that it's getting used not just sporadically, but people are putting it into their plans.
Right.
We just had another person ask me today, or this weekend, I guess it was, about having a birthday party there.
Oh,
Kid's
perfect.
birthday. It's great.
And after Easter, I happened to be up at the playground for something. I don't remember now what. And somebody in the community had hid a bunch of Easter eggs for the kids at school.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's so
that's
sweet.
cool.
Which presents its own show.
Yeah, well, it was tricky. I did
It's
answer it, so. We did eventually find out who did it, but we didn't know initially, so I had to pick them up initially. But
That's
Yeah.
cute.
it was a nice.
It was sweet.
It was
Very
such a
nice.
neat idea. Yeah,
Let us
so
know
somebody
ahead.
thought about our school, our local
Yeah.
playground.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you to this team. You guys have been amazing to work with. And I appreciate all of you guys so much. You have little thank yous from me in your cards, but
Yeah, thank you.
it's
Thank
been
you.
really great to serve with all of you and all of you. And I'm just really thankful for everybody. So
Me too. Ditto.
Great job, you guys.
Yes.
okay. I did not cry. Okay. We'll go to announcements and dates of importance.
We have our admin retreat coming up in July, and then that's also with our
Heard
office
about
staff. No, try to. I've said, hey, if you guys pay for your own airline tickets, I can take it maybe to Anaheim some year. Like, well, you got to pay for the plane ticket too, and it's like, we're not doing that. So, but yeah, the next board meeting coming up. Not a lot.
Okay. So then we will adjourn at 7:58.
Do something like that.
How about that?
Sure, we can take an hour.
Yeah, a lot.